We're about to cut a hole in the roof of the van. It's a perfectly good roof. I get so nervous when we start doing this, but gotta have air, so we're putting in a max air fan today.
I mean, you can't put it here because the roof is, that's the funky slope starts right here. So it has to be back here in this first section because this is sloped too much, I think. So, I mean, move it forward 2.5 inches or leave it where I've got it marked off and go with it. And it is what it is. I don't think that 2.5 inches is going to matter being forward. I'm about to drill a hole in a perfectly good roof of a van.
I said that earlier.
Yeah, there's no coming back from that. Drilling into the floor with rib nuts, that's one thing. Drilling in, because water don't usually go up. But drilling up and cutting a perfectly good roof. Okay, let's make it happen. Ready?
Yeah, do it. B-roll, baby.
So here I'm placing a board on the roof of the van, and then I will kneel on that as I'm cutting the hole in the roof. The point of the board is to spread the load over the top of the roof more evenly and distribute that weight. The van roof is very flimsy. You'll see I push on it and it just kind of pops up and down there real quick. I've marked out the shape of the gasket and I taped it down and just peeling it up to try to get the gasket shape accurate to where it needs to be. So I taped down the gasket from Hein. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Used it as a template to make my lines to be able to have a guide. So I'm just masking off my marker line from where I had the gasket positioned on the roof there. And by doing this, the saw will ride, hopefully it will ride on top of the tape and not mar or scratch up the roof of the van once I actually make the cuts with the jigsaw to cut the hole in the roof. Drill out the corner so I have an access point to drop the blade through to start the drilling process. My drill bit was a little duller than it should have been, but we got through it, and so now we're going to start to drill through. And the thing about it is the drill was a brand new blade on there, but that material is so thin and no rigidity to it, almost non-existent on rigidity, that it would vibrate. If you look closely, you can see it's vibrating very bad, and it just wouldn't cut cleanly through the roof. So it took a little bit of effort to get it through, and that particular day it was very hot, and you know, just being unsteady up there on the roof, it took us a bit, but we got through it, and finally we ended up with a nice hole in the roof.
So we have a skylight now for a minute.
Hello. So here I'm just cleaning up the edges of the cut, roughing it up with a Scotch-Brite pad to adhere, make sure it has some tooth there so that the adhesive will adhere, and clean the edges with a little bit of rubbing alcohol before we start to put down the adhesive, which in our case we used Sikaflex 221 in a gray in color, matched the roof pretty good. The instructions call for you to put down 3 rows on each side, which we did, and then we flipped it over. Well, there's a hole in the van now, and I mean a big one, not like a 1/8 inch drill bit or even a 3/8 for a rib nut, but we will enjoy the cool air that the fan will bring in. I hope that the frustration is worth it. So we'll let that set up a little bit and then continue on with the process. Here I'm applying butyl tape to the underside perimeter of the trim ring, I guess you'd call it, for the Max Air fan. Put it on all 4 sides and then trim the corners back, peel off the backing, and get ready to put it down on top of the gasket. Peel the backing off the butyl tape. So here I'm just smoothing out the Sikaflex on the gasket onto the roof around the fan flange or trim ring, and making sure it's all adhered well. A couple days later we came back and inserted the fan onto the flange and went ahead and screwed it in, and then we tried out the mechanics of it and everything seemed to be functioning as it was supposed to. Thanks for following along on this. Hope you got some information out of this. If you have any questions about anything that we did, please be sure to leave them down in the comments and I'll try to answer them just as quick as I can. Thanks for following along with us on this van build. Stay tuned for more information to come on the next section that we tackle in this van, and we'll see you soon.